my name is Yaki. I'm the creator and founder of Silky, a luxury hair care product company, and I'm here today to do part 2 of our hair hack styling texture series, Yaki texture. So if this is your first time coming over to Silky, I want to say hello and welcome. This is part 2 of our hair hack styling series for textures. Our video 1 was giving you tips on how to style silky textured units, and this is part 2 giving you tips on how to style Yaki style units, because wigs, no matter if they're human hair or synthetic, usually come in 2 textures and are a combo of the 2, and that is silky or Yaki. So this video is going to be part 2 where we're going to be breaking down tips for the Yaki texture. If you have not watched video 1 for silky textures, the link to that video will be down in the description box. And so now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into part 2, Yaki textured. So Yaki texture is a texture that has been around for a long time, especially with like braiding hair or braid hair, but it has just really gotten popular within, I would say, maybe this last decade, maybe the 2010s, as far as wigs go, especially with synthetic wigs. Wigs tend to have been more of a silkier texture, and now we're getting more of a Yaki texture. So for those of you who are not familiar with Yaki texture just is a more thicker hair strand. It tends to mimic a more kinkier or curlier textured. It can be straightened, but it's a really good dupe for African American style hair, and the texture has become super popular, especially with more natural style wigs that are coming out. And when it comes to synthetic wigs, they're really getting good at mimicking that kinky, coily style texture hair and doing it with color. So this is a textured wig that I'm wearing, and what I love about this wig is it has color, because the Yaki texture wigs back in the days, or even ponytails, tend to had only come in like natural 1B, 2s, but now they're making them in blondes, reds, and it's really fun and really good, especially if you have curlier or kinkier style hair. This texture really gives you so much more options than you had in the past as far as wearing wigs and blending your own natural hair with the units. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these hacks and styling tips. So regardless to whether the hair is human or synthetic, this is something you have to do, especially nowadays with all these HD and really light lace wigs. You need to make sure that the wig lace is matching your skin tone and your complexion. So you can go in with a wig tint spray, you can go in with makeup, eyeshadow, foundation, concealer, whatever it is that you prefer, that you like to use to match your lace with. That's the first thing, of course, that you would do. And then however you're going to secure your wig in place, whether that's using an adhesive like a glue or a hairspray or a spray or a gel. There's so many of those out there. You can pick which one works the best for you, which one you like the best, but you would next, choose that, whatever adhesive you're going to use. Or if you're not going to glue the wig down, you can always use your handy dandy wig grip to keep your wig in place. Then once the wig is in place, if it's Yaki texture, these are some of the hacks and tips that I recommend you use when styling your Yaki textured units. And tip number 1, use detangling spray to detangle your wig. So if it's a human hair wig, you want to make sure that you're using products that are specific to that style of wig texture and curl pattern, whether it's straight, colored, wavy, whatever. You definitely want to use some kind of detangler that is for that. If it is a synthetic wig, then you want to use a silicone spray to detangle it. I like using this Simply Styling Light Spray, silicone spray. It is really good. I got it online off of Amazon. It was recommended by Is That Your Hair? And it works really well. Since this is a synthetic unit, this is what I used on it to detangle it. I just went in with my wide tooth comb and detangled. Of course, you always want to detangle from the ends up to the roots. Now you can go in with a detangling brush. If it's a curly Yaki style wig, I definitely suggest to use a brush, but since this one is more straight and it mimics a blowout, I just went in with my wide tooth comb, start from the bottom, put the silicone spray into the hair and just comb from the ends up into the roots. Once it was detangled, then it looked really, really good, really, really nice. The silicone spray is great. It is great to revive your synthetic wigs and bring them back. If it's an older synthetic wig, you definitely want to check into this, and then definitely want to detangle from tip to roots when you're working with a yakier style, because it's a kinkier, curlier, coily type of hair. It just needs a little bit more TLC, and detangling from tip to root is really going to help you get started and make it easier as you're working your way into whatever style that you're going to put the wig into. Tip number 2 is use a heat brush or a hot comb. Now, I prefer to use the heat brush. My heat brush is from Dry Bar, but there are tons of heat brushes out there that you can find. This brush is amazing. You plug it up, it can go up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And what I like about these brushes more than using a hot comb, even though you can definitely go in and use a hot comb if you do not have one of these brushes, is I feel like the hot comb can straighten the hair out and really, really give it a silky, sleek look. And sometimes when you have a yakier texture, you want it to look more yaki. You want it to look more of a blowout instead of like a silk press. And so I think sometimes a hot comb, if it's really, really hot, can give you more of a silk press look. But I feel like these brushes give you more of a blown out look. So it's really your preference. But for me, when it's a yakier texture, especially this particular wig, it's styled as a blowout, and I wanted it to keep that look and keep the blowout style look. And with more yakier textures tend to mimic more natural style hair. I think that the heat brushes tend to give you that look more, let you keep that look instead of turn it into a more sleek look. Now, if you don't have a heat brush and you have a flat iron or you have a hot comb, you can definitely use those if you need to straighten the hair a little bit or make it straighter. But just remember that doing that can alter the texture of the hair, especially if it's humid. So invest in a heat brush. I guarantee you, you will love these brushes. There's some really affordable ones out on the market. Dry Bar is a little bit more of a high-end one, but I really, really, really love it. It comes through so well, and you use it like you would use a hot comb or anything else, but instead of starting from the roots and down like you would with a hot comb, you would take it from the bottom of your hair like you're detangling and brush it from the bottom to the top, and then once you get all the way to the top, then you can just brush all the way down from the roots all the way down to the bottom. But I really, really like that this brush still puts some heat in there to bring it and flatten the hair, but it doesn't take out that blowed out look. So these brushes are super popular, very good investment, especially if you're wearing a lot of yaki textured units. You will love me for it. Trust me, get you a heat brush. Also, don't forget that when you are going in and straightening those yaki texture units with either the heat brush or a hot comb, to make sure you spray some heat protectant, especially in the human hair units, to keep it protected. You don't want to be ruining and getting any heat damage from doing so much styling all the time. Tip number 3 is use a mousse when styling these units. Now, just like if you watched the first video on silky textured styling, yes, I said use mousse, and it is the same for yaki texture as well, especially when it's a synthetic wig. Because mousse is a water-based product, it's a really good product to style wigs, especially synthetic style wigs. And what I love the most about mousse is because it's water-based and because you don't wear wigs a lot and a lot of product buildup can ruin your wigs, the mousse tends to be a lot lighter than putting oils and lotions in your wigs, especially synthetic ones. It'll tend to weigh it down. So mousse is really, really great to help, especially if you're wearing a colored synthetic yaki texture wig. It just really helps to tame those frizzies and little frays that are like sticking up around your face, around your lips, you know, getting stuck to your lipstick and in the crown of the hair. It really just helps to sleek them in and bring them together. So I just put a little mousse in my hand and then just rub it really, really well all throughout the wig. Make sure it's rubbed in really, really well. And mousse is also great to use to lay down baby hairs. If you're into laying down baby hairs, especially on human hair units, you can also use mousse to really sculpt and get in there and lay those baby hairs down, which brings me into tip number 4. And tip number 4 is to use edge booster. Edge booster works really, really well when you're laying down edges on either human hair units or synthetic units with Yaki texture, because it seems to be one of the more thicker edge controls. I think that thickness really gets in there and tames those hair, and you can really shape them and mold them to the shape you want to go into. So get whatever brush you use, your baby hair brush, your toothbrush, get it out, get your little edge booster and lay those baby hairs down if that's a thing that you like to do. That particular edge control really, in my opinion, is the best when it comes to styling wigs in general, but definitely great for Yaki textured units. And the last tip but not least is this little blue bottle. I love it so much, you guys. This oil-free wig shine is really great, especially for synthetic wigs. With Yaki or textured wigs, especially when it mimics natural hair or African American texture style hairs, it tends to look very dry sometimes, especially with these blonde and lighter colored units. So I like to spray some on my hand and just rub it really well all throughout the unit, just to give it a little bit of shine and to keep it from looking so dry. I don't know what it is about these blonde texture wigs, but blonde on any hair, even your real natural hair, when you put it in, it strips it. And so I feel like blonde textured wigs, whatever they're putting, can also like strip the fibers a little bit. And when it's a Yaki texture, because the hair is already naturally more on the drier side, these wigs, especially synthetic ones, tend to look really dry. So I like to use this spray in my natural style and Yaki textured wigs to help just boost it a little bit, give it a little bit more shine, and make it look a little bit more sleek and just pull together and refine. I think it's a nice touch, and it gives you just that shine that you need without being overboard. And now I'm going to enter some footage of the wig before I styled it using the styling tips. So here is the before and after footage. You can see the difference between the wig after using the styling tips that I gave in this video. So those were all of my tips for styling Yaki textured units. Again, if you have not watched part 1, go over and watch part 1 so that you can learn about Silky textured units and the tips and things you can use to style that style of wig as well. And if you enjoyed this video, if you liked part 1 and part 2 and you enjoyed these hair hacks, please consider subscribing and becoming a Silky check. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then hit the bell to be notified whenever we drop a video. We come to you every Monday and Friday with wig type videos. And if you're watching over on Facebook, hey, go ahead and give us a like and then comment down below. Let me know which one of these hair hacks you're going to use, and if this series really helped you, let me know so I'll know to continue to make more series like these. I do enjoy doing these how-to and styling and hack and tip wig style videos, so let me know. And if there's a tip or trick you use for your Yaki style units, please put it down below. Also, let me know, which style do you prefer? Do you prefer more of a Silky texture or more of a Yaki texture? I know I like both. I'm somewhere in the middle. I like a Silky Yaki wig. That's actually my favorite texture. But you know, there's beautiful wigs that come in Silky and there's beautiful wigs that come in Yaki as well. As always, I want to say thank you so much for watching. We did put together a free PDF giving you tips on how you can take care of your hair, because there is 5 things that you could be doing right now that are ruining your wigs. So check out the description box for that free download. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, better care is better wear, and I hope to see you in the next video. Whew, okay, I need a wipe. It is product, okay? I got product all up on my hands.